Happy summer, everybody! July is a new month, and a new month means new streaming stuff coming to all the various streaming platforms. And this is the video where I tell you some of the biggest and bestest new movies and shows that are coming to all your favorite services this month. This isn't everything, but it's just a few choice recommendations handpicked by IGN's entertainment team. What I'm getting at here is if the recommendations suck, it's their fault. Let's get into it. Over on Netflix, Stranger Things 4 Volume 2 continues running up that hill on the first, and that hopefully means another 80s singer getting a resurgence of popularity the way that Kate Bush did, and I'm hoping it's Laura Branigan or Kim Wilde. In any case, those kids have more misadventures in the Upside Down, and you're gonna have to wait a whole while to see what happens in Volume 5. On the 12th, Vinland Saga Season 1 drops, adapting the hit historical manga about Vikings that's been extremely well received, so if you haven't figured out how to watch it elsewhere, now it's on Netflix with a full English language dub. The latest attempt to adapt Resident Evil into something that isn't a video game is a live-action series set in the future, a la 28 Weeks Later. That's out on the 14th, and this certainly seems to be taking some liberties with the source material, so who knows how it'll pan out. It definitely looks a little more Paul W.S. Anderson than Capcom, but hopefully they make some cool creatures at least. Now make an RE4 show, you cowards. Meanwhile, over on Prime Video, you can find The Terminal List on July 1st, starring Chris Pratt, or as he's known to his friends, CP the Pratt Man. That's about a Navy SEAL who loses his entire platoon and then finds himself caught in a web of intrigue, and he probably has to do some ass-kicking to get out of it. On the 15th, there's Don't Make Me Go, a dramedy movie starring John Cho on a cross-country road trip with his teenage daughter to meet her estranged mother and teaching her as many life lessons along the way because he's dying of a disease. And that sounds like a bummer, but it was well received at the Tribeca Film Festival, so could be fun. If it sounds too heavy, on the 29th you can catch Paper Girls, the live-action adaptation of one of the many very good comic books by Brian K. Vaughan. This one involves spunky 1980s youths getting in supernatural misadventures, so if you need something to hold you over till that Stranger Things 5, take this for a spin. On Disney Plus, Kamala Khan continues her misadventures in Ms. Marvel, and it'll be interesting to see if they try to tie this series into the larger MCU prior to Kamala's confirmed appearance in Captain Marvel 2, aka The Marvels, or if any random MCU characters just make surprise appearances for the hell of it. If you want more Marvel, there's also Marvel Studios Assembled, the making of Doctor Strange, debuting on the 1st, which should undoubtedly yield some cool bits of trivia and also hopefully explain how they made a whole cape out of ghosts. Speaking of spooky, on the 15th you can catch Zombies 3. That is the third entry in the Disney Channel original movie series that involves The Walking Dead and also musical numbers. Hey, if it's on Disney Plus, is it still a DCOM, or are we calling these like DPOMs? And by we, I mean you, because I never really watched the Disney Channel, and that whole world of live-action tween fare is extremely alien and strange to me. On Hulu, you can catch The Princess, starring Joey King, Dominic Cooper, and Olga Kurylenko, and apparently it's a dark fantasy action comedy, which you don't really get a lot of those altogether, so I'm intrigued. That sounds cool. Then, of course, there's Season 4 of What We Do in the Shadows, which will be emerging from the shadows on the 13th, with lots more vampire antics for you to sink your teeth into, and hopefully it doesn't suck. Over on HBO Max, you can catch Last Night in Soho on the 1st. That is the groovy, psychedelic, psychological horror movie from Hot Fuzz director Edgar Wright, starring Anya Taylor-Joy. Or you can catch up with the Belchers in the Bob's Burgers movie. Content warning, this movie contains sinkholes, one of the most terrifying kinds of holes out there. That will also be on Hulu. Apple TV Plus is getting Blackbird on the 8th. That is a limited series about an incarcerated drug dealer played by Taron Egerton who gets offered freedom if he can get a confession out of a serial killer played by Paul Walter Hauser. This guy has steadily become one of my favorite character actors thanks to his hilarious performances in I, Tonya, Black Klansman, and of course his unforgettable role in I Think You Should Leave as that guy who doesn't want to make jokes at boys' night about his wife because she supported him when he was playing a henchman in a community theater play, even when another actor kept stepping on his lines because he could talk faster. My point is, I'm excited to watch him play a serial killer. Anyway, on the 29th, there's Surface, a psychological thriller limited series about a woman trying to piece together the events leading up to her suicide attempt and then finding herself in a web of intrigue. Hey, you can watch Surface on an iPad, but you can't watch iPad on a Microsoft Surface. That's a dumb joke, but I'm not sure what the hell else to say about a show that involves suicide attempts. Let's move on! Paramount Plus is almost comically bad at promoting their own content more than 2 weeks in advance, and I'm gonna call them out for it. We couldn't find an official list or press release for what they've got in the works this month, and sadly that's kind of par for the course. Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe premiered on the 23rd of last month, and I didn't hear about it until days beforehand, so it wasn't in last month's version of this video. Supposedly, they were going to remaster the complete Beavis and Butthead series and add all the music videos back into it, which got cut out for the DVDs because of licensing rights. I went on the app and looked around for that, and currently they just have seasons 4 and then 7 through 11, which is better than nothing, but still very weird, and I didn't hear about it until I went and checked it out for myself. Anyway, my point is, it's entirely possible that at some point in July we get brand new Beavis and Butthead episodes, but I haven't heard anything. Paramount, send me an email or something. Anyway, over on Peacock, you can watch the recent animated family film The Bad Guys, which is about a bunch of villainous animal men doing a heist, and that sounds fun. If you want something a little more mature and spooky, there's also The Resort, which is about a bunch of attractive people going to investigate a haunted resort, only to discover that it's haunted! But you already knew that, and apparently so did they, which is why they were going to check it out, or something. The folks over at Crunchyroll are crunching away and rolling out tons of new anime. A couple notable additions are Rent a Girlfriend Season 2, which premieres on the 1st. And I was unfamiliar with this one, so I googled it, and now I'm getting all sorts of really embarrassing targeted ads. There's also Season 2 of The Devil is a Part-Timer on the 14th, and that follows the continuing adventures of Satan as he's trapped on Earth and has to work part-time at the fast food restaurant McRonald's. And I'm guessing it's his fault that the McFlurry machine is broken. Both those recommendations come by way of some of IGN's hip young otaku who are down with what's new and popular in the world of anime. I am old and tired and out of touch, but I still wanted to shout out Double-Zeta Gundam, which is the 3rd Mobile Suit Gundam series in the mainline Universal Century. And weirdly, Zeta, the series that comes before Double-Zeta, isn't on Crunchyroll, but the first one is, and then the movie that comes after Double-Zeta is. That's Char's Counterattack. That one's pretty cool. That all came out last month, but you should go check it out because it has some cool bubble-era robot animation. Anyway, I would love to talk about Gundam some more, but my time here has come to an end. If you thought this was a fun video but wish that the whole time I'd been talking about new video games, well, great news, because we do another video series every month that is about the biggest new video games coming out. You can go check that one out too. And with that, I will see you next time. Remember, IGN, subscribe wherever you're, no.